Welcome in. It's The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to get your text in this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Looking forward to hearing from you this hour. Coming up on the program, we're going to talk a little track and field with you. That's right. Big meet coming up. Sunbelt Conference Championships are fast upon us. And we've got Keith Roberts going to join us here in the next few minutes. Of course, he is the director of track and field cross country for Marshall University. So he's coming on the program. We're going to talk to him. Also, we're going to hear from one of his runners who has a real good shot of winning the steeplechase. And that's Ronnie Saunders. He's second right now in the conference, and he's also second place all time in Marshall history. So if Ronnie or any Marshall male winning a gold medal, it would be the first Marshall gold since Casey Beatty in 2002. So we hope that Marshall can bring home some gold on the men's side. The women have already showcased themselves over the last few months. And this has been, I think, a good rebuild for the Marshall track and field program and the cross country as well. So we're going to talk to Keith coming up in the next few minutes, but I want to make sure we make time for you. So we'll do that again, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Baseball actually coming up tonight here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. As the Pirates taking on the A's. A's got the better of the Pirates last night, 5-1. Game 2 is coming up tonight. 9:40 is going to be our first pitch in Oakland, and we've got that game for you. Late night baseball coming up here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And then they're going to wrap it up tomorrow. It's going to be a late afternoon game for us here on the radio, so I won't be with you tomorrow, but instead we'll have baseball in our place. That's okay. We'll come back even better on Thursday. Reds get the better of the Padres 5-2. Game 2 coming up tonight, 9:40 in San Diego. Cleveland's opening up a series in Houston tonight at 8:10. And Charleston in the Atlantic League opening up a series at High Point. That's coming up tonight, 6:35. And then NBA playoffs first round tonight, 8 o'clock. Orlando at Cleveland tonight. That series all tied at 2 games apiece. Now, I haven't heard anything about weather. I think we're going to be fine, but Marshall baseball is at EKU tonight at 6 o'clock, and then the Herd will play host to the Colonels coming up tomorrow, and that's also going to be at 6 o'clock at Jack Cook Field. I want to be there tomorrow for the show. Unfortunately, for the show, we've got the Pirates coming up, and so baseball tomorrow on the radio. You can take your radios with you or just listen in the car. Before you head to the game, you can go over and watch the Herd take on EKU. And, of course, we've got Marshall baseball coming up this weekend as the Herd's going to take on Georgia State. Now, we've got the Saturday game. That's coming up at 3 o'clock. We'll have that from Jack Cook Field. Listen to it right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Couple of news items from yesterday. Marshall men's golf landing a pair of players on the Sunbelt Conference's all Sunbelt Conference men's golf team. That's Marshall graduate Tyler Jones, named as an all Sunbelt Conference first team selection. And then junior Ryan Bilby, tabbed as an all Sunbelt Conference second team honor. So congratulations to them. We're going to try to at least get Coach Grobe on from the golf team, and we'll try to see if we can get Tyler and or Ryan come on with us here in the near future. So some good stuff happening for the Thundering Herd. Now, I want to get the text line open early for you because we're going to have a busy show in the next few minutes as we're going to switch gears and get you set for the conference tournament, track meet, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get you set for the conference track meet, and that's coming up this weekend. And so in the next few minutes, we're going to be talking with Keith Roberts in his first season with Marshall Track and Field. The Herd right now has either broken or rebroken 15 records this season. That's impressive. Think about that. Marshall Track and Field has been without a home for years, finally getting an indoor facility, and it's finally starting to all pay off. And then you bring in Keith Roberts, and he starts working with this team and putting them back in a competitive spot, not only on the women's side, but then you bring back men's track and field. and some of the other sports as well. That way you have an option because there are a lot of football players. And that's not the sole reason, but that's a good reason to have it available as well. You got a lot of players that want to also run different sports. So it's been a good run so far for Keith Roberts and his squad. Also, coming out of the transfer portal today, spring games are starting to mean nothing to me. And I don't mean that derogatory, but, it's fun. You get to go to the spring game. You get to hang out. You get to tailgate. You get to see people you haven't maybe seen since, last weekend. Pretty close-knit group here in Huntington and with the Marshall community. But you get to tailgate. You get to be on the parking lot, go see a game, sure. And you go to the spring game and you're thinking, oh, wow, that player's doing well. Hopefully he's going to have a big year. Well, another one of those players entered the transfer portal the other day, kind of blew everything I had for a particular show. I had a show, didn't age well because everything we talked about, here today, gone tomorrow. Another one of those players now finding a landing spot. And former Marshall linebacker Steven Dix now committing to Arkansas. Going to be in the SEC. That's a leap. It's one thing if you enter the transfer portal and you take a lateral move. You go to maybe a like program at Marshall. Say you go from Marshall to JMU. You go to Marshall, and then you find a spot at Western Kentucky. You really haven't elevated yourself. You made mostly a lateral move. It's still a better situation for you, whatever your reasons may be. But to leave Marshall and then you go to a bigger program, that kind of stings a little bit. I think it stings anyway because here's the real question is how do you retain that talent? If you get that diamond in the rough, you get that talent, how do you retain those players? Because the transfer portal is going to make it impossible now to maintain really good players if they see a better opportunity. So how do you retain those players? All right, we'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Keith Roberts. He is in charge of Marshall track and field and cross country. He joins us on the other side of the break here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Looking to sell your vehicle and receive well above current market value? You're in luck because that's exactly what you'll get during the grand opening of the Glockner Buying Center at all Glockner locations. Glockner's partnership with Kelley Blue Book allows us to offer above current market value for your vehicle in under 15 minutes. No appointment necessary. Even if you choose not to buy from us, we will still buy from you. That's how easy it is to sell us your vehicle.
We make it easy at Glockner.com.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kitty Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Sunflower Seeds will host an I Run Walk for Ukraine 5K Saturday, May 18th at Ritter Park. It starts at 9 o'clock. Visit TriStateRacer.com to register. T-shirts, canvas bags, and other items, part of the $25 pre-registration fee. Sunflower Seeds Incorporated is a tri-state area nonprofit established to raise awareness and resources for humanitarian aid to Ukrainian refugees. 17 million Ukrainians are in need of aid, and most of the refugees are women and children who want to remain near their Ukrainian homeland. To date, Sunflower Seeds has raised $40,000 and over 13,000 pounds of food and medical supplies have been delivered across 6 trips to Poland and beyond. Again, to be part of this I Run Walk for Ukraine 5K May 18th at Ritter Park, 9 o'clock, visit TriStateRacer.com to register.
Today, I'm up and I'm moving, parking a little farther away from the store to get some extra steps in. Today I'm making healthy choices like fresh fruits and vegetables, lowering my A1C and improving my blood pressure. Today, the little things add up so that tomorrow I can celebrate what I did for my health today.
Sponsored by West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources Bureau for Public Health, Division of Health Promotion and Chronic Disease Prevention, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We'll open the text line back up in a few minutes at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to your Tuesday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Paul Swann, your host. I want to welcome to the program now in his first season, the Marshall Thundering Herd has broken or rebroken 15 records. And more, I'm sure, are going to fall here in the next few weeks. Let's welcome to the program now the director of Marshall Track and Field and Cross Country. He is Keith Roberts. Keith, thanks for joining us. I know you've been pretty busy these last few weeks getting set for a championship run. Everything's been looking pretty good so far.
Yes, sir. Just been working and getting the last-minute workouts in.
How pleased have you been with the progress your team has made both on the women's side and the men's side in your first year?
I definitely think we made some strides. You know, we're trying to build more depth. You see that within our kids, the way they train, the way they work. Performances are starting to come out with PRs and people breaking school records. So, and then really just a mental focus, you know, starting to think more like a championship program and, you know, wanting to win as a team. And I really feel like that's starting to spread.
Was there one breakthrough moment where everyone started to get it, that they saw the results and then maybe that made it easier for you to get them to buy in and do your job even better?
You know, I think it's various things happen throughout the season. And to be honest with you, there's ups and downs. You know, one week you might think you have things rolling and all of a sudden something happens and you feel like, you know, it's the opposite. But I just think the consistency out of some of our upperclassmen, some of the leaders that we've, you know, kind of always depended on here, I've really tried to highlight the things that they're doing. And you can even hear some of the younger people bring up, you know, this person or that person, you know, whether it be, you know, Ronnie or Micah or Abby or Kylie or Tyra or whoever it is. You hear them bring them up and how they work. And sometimes they're not even at the point yet where they feel like they can, you know, match that work ethic, but that's where they want to be at. So I think it's up and down. And I think just seeing them perform week in, week out and be able to use those examples is kind of what's taking shape.
I was going to ask you, you have several leaders on your squad. Is it more or less they just need to be shown how to do it, what to do? If you get the right person in, you get the right character of person in on your squad, then the success happens. I mean, anybody can run fast, right? You're trying to find someone who can break through and get to the next level.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's people who lead by example, and there's people who talk about it. You know, they talk about what you need to do to get to the next level. They talk about the effort that they put in throughout their careers. They bring high energy when they come to the meets, and you know, that gets people going on the track or, you know, in the field event. So I think it's a combination of those things. You also want to bring in people that already have that culture instilled in them. And just help them continue to cultivate that and become better.
My guest in his first season with Marshall Track and Field is Keith Roberts, the Thundering Herd getting set for the Sun Belt Conference meet. You've had some really outstanding performers. We're going to speak with Ronnie Saunders here in the next few minutes. What can you say about Ronnie and the way that he has progressed, not only this season, but he is in a good spot right now possibly to win a gold, especially in his event, the steeplechase?
Yeah, it's really cool with Ronnie because, Ronnie didn't come here with track and field in mind. When he came into the program, they were, straight cross-country program. And, of course, when they added the men's track program back, he picked up the steeplechase, and there you go. I mean, he just started lighting it up on the track. And it's just amazing to see that. It's kind of feels like he was destined to be great at that. And what stands out with me the most when it comes to him isn't just his talent, it's his energy level. I mean, he's all day, every day, positive, high energy, speaking highly to about what's going on around him, getting the guys fired up and ready to run, getting the women fired up and ready to run. And that really is what separates him from the average athlete.
You mentioned that, getting both the men and the women fired up, ready to go. How much crossover do you have with both programs? You have leaders on both sides, but are you seeing, and is that what you want to see? Everybody's trying to uplift everybody, especially if the guys aren't having a good day, the girls are there for them, and vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a big family. You train together, you travel together. Everybody's pretty much doing the same things. There could be a little bit different volume or, of course, different times, but they understand the effort and work ethic that each group puts in, and they cheer for each other. It's one and the same. So very important to me. I've been part of a couple different programs, and I've been doing this for close to 2 decades now. So I've seen it where it's the opposite. But here, you definitely see our kids working together, working as one, and just trying to get better.
My guest, Keith Roberts, in his first season with Marshall Track and Field. Coming up in the next few minutes, we're going to hear from Ronnie Saunders. Another name that we need to talk about is Rebecca Merritt. She really set the tone with her NCAA first-round qualifying mark in the discus. How hard has she been working, and what can you say about her and just the way that she's been preparing and training, getting ready for the Sun Belt Championship?
To be honest, I'm excited you asked me that because we have a team group message, and I put in there last week, every time I walk into practice, because Rebecca practices at 6 a.m. And the reason why she practices at 6 a.m., we have a morning slot, and she has to get to her classes, and her classes are all day long. So she's not able to get there at 9 o'clock with the rest of the group. And obviously with her classes being all day long, there's no afternoons that she could get in there. So she'll get in there at 6 a.m. And when it's time for her to go, I mean, she puts everything she has into her practice, and she's literally sprinting out the door so she can make it on time to her classes. And then she does excellent there as well. So that's something I brought up to the group. I mean, it's amazing. You don't see a lot of people in general, who have that kind of work ethic and that kind of level of, urgency to do everything and to do everything at a high level. So, I mean, and this weekend's a perfect example. I put in the message, all those 6 a.m. practices are paying off, and I couldn't be happier for her than I am.
How does she lead by example? Is she at that point now where others are seeing what she's putting in, and so they're trying to match that energy, even though they don't see her, they know that energy is going on because she's there at 6 a.m.?
Yeah, I think even though they don't see her, they know what's going on, and I definitely know the throwers see it, and that's really what makes me want to highlight it amongst the whole team, because everybody doesn't know that. You have people coming in at 9 o'clock and doing their practice, and some of them are running outside, some of them are at the opposite end of the facility, and she's gone by then. But yeah, I mean, if you know that, that's what she does, and that's how she got to where she is, and you can't try to mimic that or emulate that in your career, then I'd really question whether or not you want to be successful.
Keith Roberts is with us, getting set for the Sun Belt Championships. How close do you think you are to being ready for this? I mean, you got a few more days. You got some time, but not much. What do you need to do to maybe get this team at the right point where they're ready to go once they hit the track and field?
I mean, physically, and you probably heard this before, the hay's in the barn. If they're not ready physically, they're not ready. At this point, you're staying sharp on the track or in the ring or on the runway. But if you're not ready physically, I think we're past that point. It's more about mentally preparing, making sure everybody understands what they need to do execution-wise in their event, making sure everybody has confidence. I actually had a discussion with someone today. I think that's the biggest thing with athletes is confidence. And those are the things we want to just try to work with them, have meetings with them, have discussions with them just to see where their minds are at and just try to get them ready in that perspective.
Everybody pretty loose at this point. I mean, you got a team that has characters like Abby Herring and Kylie Maston on the squad. How can you not have fun with those two?
Yeah, I mean, I think those kind of kids, obviously, they're going to be loose and ready to go. But you're going to have all ends of the spectrum. You got young people that may have never made a final before, but they're right on the verge of doing it, and people who have had success that are looking for a little bit of that magic that they've had in the past. So I think you're all over the place, but definitely feel like based off of today's practice, I feel like it's loose, it's exciting, and they're just ready to go.
My guest is Keith Roberts. We're getting set for the Sun Belt Championships. I got Ronnie Saunders coming up next. What's the one thing I can ask him maybe to put him on the spot that he wouldn't be expecting a question about?
Ask him who I think the funniest guy I ever worked with as an athlete is.
Okay, ask him who you think the funniest guy is he's worked with as an athlete.
That I've ever had on my team.
Okay.
That'd be a good way to.
Okay, so funniest athlete that you have never worked with, never been on your team.
No, that has been on my team.
Has been on your team, okay.
Been on my team. See if he remembers.
Okay, I'll put him to the test when we get him on here in the next few minutes. Good luck. We're excited. There's a lot of positive energy and vibes for what you've been doing with the program, and I think that a lot of people are seeing the hard work and responding. And are you feeling that as well from the Herd fans that they're really getting behind this program? Maybe they're new to it or they haven't supported in the past, and now they're really getting on board with you?
Yeah, I do. I hope so. I know from a recruiting perspective, there's been some things put out about how hard we recruit and how many people we've signed. I mean, we've signed people from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Illinois, Virginia, West Virginia, obviously, Ohio. Like, we're all over the map, and we've signed close to 40 student athletes. And some of these kids are some of the best out in the country. Some of them are the best in their state. I think it's going to be some major performances coming along. So I hope everybody's excited about that. But I do hope that people know, and I think people know this, we're all about mentoring. I've been talking about this with my staff all year long. Kids, you're going to have great athletes throughout your career, and that's fun. You know what I mean? But it's about mentoring these kids, preparing them for the future. When I bring recruits in, I'm straightforward with them. I don't blow smoke and talk about all these great things that are going to happen. I talk to them about what we're looking for, what's going to make us great, and then when they understand that, I think things really get rolling the way they're supposed to.
Keith Roberts, my guest. Congratulations. Been an outstanding season so far. Looking for even more, and I hope that we can bring home a lot of winners for Thundering Herd.
All right, thank you. And I did want to add, that's the thing about Ronnie is he's always free and happy. Telling jokes. That's what keeps people loose. So that's what made me think of that. He does a great job of that. So
looking forward to it. Congratulations again. It's been an outstanding season so far. We're looking for more success, and hopefully everybody's having fun in the process.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Keith Roberts with us. We're going to talk to Ronnie Saunders in a few minutes. He's the indoor 3K men's record holder, and he's also, right now, second place in the conference in the steeplechase. It's been a back-and-forth battle all season long for him. He's second place all-time in martial history as well. Possibility of a gold medal. Hopefully, we're talking to him in a week or so about his gold medal, but no pressure. He joins us on the program when we continue on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Working Man Store in Huntington. Check out the biggest inventory of scrubs in West Virginia, featuring brands such as Healing Hands, Dickies, Cherokee, and Med Couture at the best price. Working Man Store has one of the largest selections of big and tall shirts, jackets, and jeans in the area. Working Man Store is the king of blue jeans with Levi's, Dickies, Carhartt, Lee, and Wranglers in sizes up to 72. And Working Man Store has the best selection of men's work boots and casual shoes anywhere at the best price. Working Man Store, open every day at 140 5th Avenue, Huntington.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From NCAA basketball, NBA, NHL, and MLB. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away away from home.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com. Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road. Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Tuesday edition of The Drive. It is ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Paul Swann, your host. We've been talking about track and field. We got the Sun Belt Conference Championships coming up. We just spoke with Keith Roberts. He's in his first season of being the director of track and field and cross country at Marshall. Joining us now on the program, one of his runners who, no pressure, but I'm hearing that there's potential for a gold medal and your event, the steeplechase. No pressure, Ronnie, but welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
No pressure, right? When you hear talk of that, like, hey, you could possibly be in the hunt for a gold and the steeplechase, do you try to tune that out, or you take that in and use it to fuel you?
Oh, I just try to go by every day. I really don't. I think if I think about it too much, it'll eat me up inside. So I just try to just worry about just practicing and making sure I'm there the next day.
As a student athlete who not necessarily was in for what you're doing now, what's the transition been like for you as Marshall has added more men's sports, including track and field? What's that transition been like for you? Because that's not where you were at originally.
Oh, yeah. For us, even for cross-country runners, we've always done hand-in-hand cross-country and track and field. So all throughout high school, I always did cross-country and track and field. And even when we were here for our first couple of years of college, we always did club track and field stuff. So we weren't necessarily as heavy into the indoor and outdoor season that we are now, but we were still doing workouts and managing our fitness throughout the spring semester. So nowadays it just kind of merged over. We had an easier time to merge than most of everyone else that we just picked up as walk-ons, and I think the distance team has taken as well.
So a new opportunity for you. You were ready to go, and how's it been for you so far? How do you feel that this journey has been for you?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that question?
Yeah, it was easy transition for you, and it was something that now is an add-on at Marshall University. How do you feel that you've progressed so far? As you've done this now a little bit more full time.
Oh, yeah, I think the progression's actually been awesome because, like I said, with the club team that we always had, we never really had some of the best performances. We were just out there to maintain our fitness for the upcoming cross-country season. And ever since the track and field program for indoor and outdoor was added, there were a lot of us that really banded together and really we just really transitioned well with it and really started to work a lot harder in that spring semester, fitness-wise at least, for the track and field sport. And it's just really been an awesome transition for a lot of us.
Ronnie Saunders is joining us from the Marshall track team. So what is it about the steeplechase that you feel like you excel well at?
I just have always had, I guess, a calling to stuff that is just more difficult for some reason. And running-wise, I've always liked cross-country more just because it's not always the same action as track. Track's always around the same lap every single time. In cross-country, you always get the view of your scenery, and it's sometimes more challenging whether there's a course that's hillier or not. So when I heard that there was steeplechase, it really called my name because it was just more, it looked to me like it was more difficult of an option, and there were different factors that could happen that wouldn't happen in a normal track race. And that's really where the steeplechase called me.
You're now second place in conference. It's been back and forth all year long, very competitive steeplechase. You're also second place all-time in Marshall history as well. And when you hear that, what goes through your mind to know that you're right there, you're among the best that have ever done it for Marshall University?
Oh, when I hear that, I just know that there's one more person ahead of me that I have to catch. And it's always something I have to chase. And this year I've really been trying to chase the East Prelim qualifier time. I haven't really been focusing on conference, but now that conference is coming up, it is something that has popped in my head and something that I need to go after and try and see if I can't win it.
You're also 1 second from breaking a 24-year-old record in the men's indoor mile. You are so close to that. So you're second all-time in that event as well. When you look at where you're at now, is it good that you're at a position where you still have some things, some obstacles to go after? Is that what fuels you? It gets you going to the next race and the next event and the next event when you see you're so close to some of these marks that have stood for a long time at Marshall?
Oh, absolutely. Every time there's a mark, someone always wants to go chase it. And even sometimes when you get that mark, you have to go after another one, whatever one you can find.
My guest is Ronnie Saunders. He's going to be a serious contender in several events, including the steeplechase, which has kind of become his event at Marshall. All right, we need to know something. I was talking to Coach earlier, and he told me that something I can ask you is, who is the funniest athlete that has ever been with Keith Roberts? Who's the funniest? If I heard him correctly, who's the funniest athlete?
Oh,
you know something about this, right?
According to him, it's far and away me, but I don't know. I think I'm funny on the spot. I'm not really funny just all the time.
So what makes you the funniest athlete that he has ever been with?
I think I have pretty good situational awareness. I think that's really what adds to that factor.
Do you have an example, radio-friendly example possibly?
Oh, I definitely do not off the top of my head.
Okay.
It always just comes and goes, and I forget it as soon as I say it half the time.
So how hard have you made him laugh? Because he's a straightforward guy. I mean, he has a plan. He's got a vision. He's got the background where, you go to A to B to C to D, straightforward. How do you break that? How do you break that and get him to crack up or bust that smile?
I think it's always sometimes whenever people fail to laugh the most is when they're trying to be as serious as possible, and I think that's where I always get him. I always get him post-race or post-practice or whenever he's trying to be as serious as possible, and I'll just hit him randomly with the most off-topic and awkward thing he's ever heard, and it really just gets him.
How do your teammates respond? Is there maybe a competition now to see who can get him, or are you far and away the leader in the clubhouse and they just watch you?
we all have our own sense of humor from each person to person, but I think when we're all together, it really just pulls together, and we're an unstoppable force when it comes to that.
Ronnie Saunders is with us, the funniest athlete on the team, also in contention for several medals and the conference championships coming up. As we were talking to Coach Roberts, there's been a great synergy. Yeah, I know that's a buzzword that is probably outdated, but still a great synergy between the men and the women. Could you expand on that a little bit more, how the women who used to have everything and they had all the programs, now the men's program trying to rebuild it, build it back up, and it seems like both programs have fed off of each other?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I cannot speak for the sprinter and jumper side of things, but for the distance, we've always gotten along well with the cross-country girls. And then when we add that track aspect too, it just really helps with the bonding that we have from person to person, from the girls and the guys team. And we really do just come together regardless of what it were to be, to overcome any challenge that is in our way. My
guest is Ronnie Saunders. You're getting set for conference, and then after that, hopefully beyond, you'll have some more success. What are you most looking forward to? It's a steeplechase. Is that your main event? Just performing well, or if you can just come away with one, is that the one you want the most? I know you want them all, but if I had to pin you down, which one do you want the most?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to win the steeplechase at conference, but the real thing I really strive for is qualifying for the East prelim, and the conference event will be the last chance I have to really go for that time mark.
Ronnie Saunders, our guest. Congratulations on everything so far. It's been a fun journey, and hopefully we'll have you back on soon. You can qualify. Getting qualified will get you back on the show. Medals will get you back on the show. There's some goals here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you want to come back on the show, or you maybe just take the show over, because again, I've been told off air that you are the funniest guy around. All you have to do is go win. So no pressure at all.
Of course.
Ronnie, good talking to you. Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. Good luck, and let's hope you're bringing home some hardware soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Ronnie Saunders, everyone. He is in position to be very competitive and bring home, hopefully, some gold in the conference championships. And, of course, track and field has definitely seen a lot of success with 15 records either broken or rebroken this season. We'll get your text in this hour coming up, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Save big money on your next project now at Menards. Protect your cars, trucks, and more with Shelter Logic carports. A 10x20 auto shelter is made with UV-treated fabric that withstands the elements. Plus, its heavy-duty steel frame is stable and durable. Hurry in, it's on sale through May 5th. Save big money on Shelter Logic products and check out more great deals happening now in our weekly flyer on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. In Milton, Eric Dodson, 304-390-4515. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
the trauma surgeons at Marshall Surgery, online at marshallhealth.org/surgery. Swisher and Losi Pharmacy, independently owned with free local delivery and drive-through service. 636 East Main Street in Pomeroy, Ohio. Crow Hustle Funeral Home, serving your family is our calling. 304-675-2630.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So, I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
You know, there's something about a truck you can count on and that SUV that's been on every family vacation for a decade. TikTok Tire and Uniroyal know your truck or family car is only as reliable as the tires underneath it. And that's why Uniroyal made the Laredo AT Tire and HT Tire to be the tires you trust. You know, like you trust your truck, your SUV, or TikTok Tire. Uniroyal Laredo AT and Laredo HT. See where 130 years of value takes you. For more information, stop into TikTok Tire, 2102 3rd Avenue, Huntington, right across from the stadium, or call 304-525-7831.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want, from NCAA basketball, NBA, NHL, and MLB. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
When I grow up, I want to be a baseball player. I would be the pitcher because they get to do something all the time.
If your child is sick over and over again, it could be PI, a defect in the immune system that affects millions. Early detection can give children a chance to dream. Jeffrey Modell Foundation, 25 years of helping children reach for their dreams. Visit us at info4pi.org or call 1-866-INFO4PI.
At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts. StopRex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Tuesday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're not going to be with you tomorrow, unfortunately. We've got baseball. Well, if you're a Pirates fan, it's fortunate. But if you're a big fan of the show, it's unfortunate. I think that's fair to say. Pirates are in action tonight. We've got the game for you. 9:40 is going to be first pitch. Hope you're staying up late for that one right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. A's beat the Pirates yesterday 5-1, so game 2 tonight. And then, of course, the getaway game coming up tomorrow in the late afternoon. And so we'll be off the air and then back at it on Thursday and Friday. We've got baseball, of course, the rest of the week, including on Saturday as the Thundering Herd will take on Georgia State. We've got that game. It's going to be from Jack Cook Field Saturday. Looking for a little Herd baseball this weekend? We got you covered right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. You know, a lot has been made of the transfer portal, and if you were with us earlier, we told you that former Marshall linebacker Steven Dix now at Arkansas. A couple of texts to come in on that. Texter writes in and says, good for him. However, there should be a little bit more on the transfer portal to control all of this. It's making college football unbearable to watch anymore. Texter also says, Paul, yeah, I'm happy for Steven, but when does it stop? When does it stop? Appreciate those texts. It's a good question. I think there needs to be something to keep this under control, but I don't know what that's going to be at this point because we've let the genie out of the bottle. So how do you reel this in? I mean, once you give somebody something, how do you take it back? Well, these players had the opportunity, so why can't we transfer? I think there has to be some sort of commitment. There has to be. And, of course, part of the problem is going to be the way that college football in the near future is going to look like. You're going to have probably the Power 2. You're going to have the Big Ten, the SEC. They're going to end up being the Power 2. And then you're going to have the Group of 7. Power 2, Group of 7, if you even want to call it that. And there'll be some division between those. For example, a Big 12 is going to be probably a little higher profile than, say, a MAC. Maybe a Sun Belt's going to be a little higher profile than, say, a Conference USA. Maybe. I don't know. And the transfer portal is going to just open up even further for those larger programs that have the money. And it all comes down to the NCAA, paper tiger, did not have the ability to regulate this, could have worked towards this type of regulation in the past. And so now it's the wild, wild west. It's gotten to the point where the Heisman Committee reinstates Reggie Bush because, hey, we penalized this guy for something that's pretty much now standard. Didn't affect the game of football. It just impacted his status. And so now what is the status of an amateur athlete? So he gets his Heisman back, and the relationship is strong because they only stripped him of it because of his ineligibility or being ruled ineligible. Bush's real beef is with the NCAA, and that litigation continues. But I'm glad that he got his Heisman back because it feels like to me that here's a guy who maybe was at the forefront of this, but he didn't do anything that impacted the game of college football. He just profited a little earlier than some, and he was definitely the best college football player that year. Now you got the transfer portal, and I don't understand why you can't just lock it down a little bit more. Because what's the value of spring football now? For those that stay, there's value. For those that stay. But spring football has become less and less exciting to a lot of Herd fans. I don't know if that's maybe just because it's Herd fans. I don't know if this is a trend across the country, but at least in our little part of the country, in our little world, how excited were you after the spring game? How excited were you leading up to the spring game? How excited are you for the football team? Now, as new transfers come in and Marshall starts filling some holes, bringing some players in from the transfer portal, and starts getting set for what the team's going to actually look like come this fall, maybe that excitement comes back again. And it's always going to be a recruiting battle. Some of you privately said to me that Marshall didn't have really a good spring, and you're not excited. Now, I can't quantify that, but spring doesn't mean as much to me or Herd fans right now because the players you see today are gone tomorrow. And that's not anything that the athletic department's doing. That's just reflecting what the reality is. There are some players that maybe aren't going to make it, and then there are players that would have made it or were made, and then you have a mix of players that aren't going to make it or leaving. You have a mix of players that were going to have hopefully big years and stand out for the Thundering Herd, also leaving. And so now where are we at with the transfer portal? Well, you got to go back and replenish again. Here today, gone tomorrow. So you're not going to see players like Rasheen Ali, Owen Porter, Ethan Driscoll. You're not going to see guys like that much longer. You will hopefully get that one kid that comes in wanting to play for Marshall, play for Virginia Tech, play for West Virginia, play for Ohio, play for James Madison, just, circling some of the teams in the area that are lifers. They wanted to play for that school all their life, and so they're in for a penny, they're in for a pound, they're in. And then that's going to turn into a kid like Owen Porter. And hopefully you see more and more of that. I can remember listening to Rick Pitino talk about when a kid put the jersey on at Kentucky, it meant something to them to put that Kentucky jersey on. And so I don't know if you're going to get that. You're losing something in this day and age. Gone are the kids that you recruit today, and they're going to be here 4 or 5 years. That's going to do it. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everyone being with me today on the show. We had Ronnie Saunders on. We also had Keith Roberts talking a little track and field track and field growing at Marshall University. So we'll be talking more about that in the coming weeks and months and years, I'm sure. But good to hear from both of them today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you on Thursday. Tomorrow, we've got Pirates baseball in the afternoon. We got Pirates baseball in the evening. Tonight, 9:40, going to be first pitch. Get ready for this one. The A's and the Pirates, late night baseball on the West Coast. Get a good nap in if you're going to be tuning in. We'll talk to you on Thursday. Until then, have a great night, everyone.
Retransmitting in glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.
Okay, forest animal.